Welcome to the Profits in Pajamas podcast. I'm Danielle D, or Coach Danni D, and I help women entrepreneurs and professionals to achieve their personal success stories that include joy, fulfillment, and balance. This is where we talk about how to build your business in a way that allows you to work with ease, be successful, and enjoy your life. My happy place is spending as much time in my PJs as humanly possible. And I want to help other women find their happy space while running profitable businesses or having a successful career. So get comfortable and let's dig in. Hello and welcome to the Profits in Pajamas podcast. I am your host, Coach Danni D, always here helping you find that space of joy, fulfillment, balance, so you can be living the life that you want to live. So this week it's been a week, right? So it's really been a week. Actually, last week leading into this week has definitely been a week. And I saw multiple people on my timeline post something to the effect of, when you are embarking on something big, you have all of these like obstacles and turmoil that happens as you are getting closer to that thing, right? And I've experienced that. Like, sometimes, you have something big happening, you don't experience that. Um, sometimes you do, right? And I guess what I want to say today is to always try to be as optimistic as possible about even when there are setbacks, because sometimes we can drown in those setbacks and then we lose sight of where we were going. We get derailed, sometimes we read into those setbacks and decide, oh, well, that must mean that I'm going in the wrong direction because we feel like we're not supposed to have obstacles, right? But obstacles are going to happen. You're going to experience obstacles. They're going to be bumps in the road. And how do you navigate? You still have to get to the destination, right? So how do you navigate? Like if you're, thinking about a literal road, sometimes they're detours and you have to go down a side street or go a whole nother route to get to where you normally would go, and that's just what you got to do to get there, right? Sometimes there's a pothole. I'm a New Orleans girl, so we got lots of those. So sometimes there's a pothole and you have to you know drive around that pothole or figure something out to get around that pothole. You might have to sit still for a second until the traffic passes so you can drive around the pothole because that pothole is large, right? So you know things are going to happen, obstacles are going to happen, but if you are committed to where you're going, you have to be able to work through those obstacles. And you may be frustrated. We all been in traffic before and been frustrated. We've all been, held up, when we thought we were going to be on time and something happened and, the train passed or whatever the thing was that made you, now late for the thing you were going to be early for. It happens. I had a doctor's appointment last week and navigation sent me to one location that wasn't the right location. And by the time I realized I was at the wrong location, then there was like construction and they blocked off the road. So now I'm like sitting here waiting for like 15 minutes to even be able to get to the correct location. So again, I went from being early to being like just barely on time for this appointment. But I needed to go to the appointment so to keep pushing through, right? That's the same thing with your journey. You got to keep pushing through even with the obstacles. And sometimes some obstacles catch us off guard and they knock us on our butts, and we might be there for a minute, but always, give it the time that it deserves. And then from there, pick yourself up and keep moving and move forward. So I just want to encourage you if you are going through a season where you feel like it's one thing after another, it's probably because you're going somewhere really good. And just focus on that. Focus on where you're trying to go and try not to let those hiccups upset you too much, right? And know that sometimes, even though that hiccup is not what you wanted in a moment, maybe you needed a a moment of adversity. Maybe you needed that in that moment to, you know, for you to realize how committed you are to this thing, right? Because you wouldn't be as frustrated if you weren't being derailed from something great. So understand it is just a blip. It's not the end of the world. In a week, a month, a year, you're not going to even remember that this thing happened in most cases. And I'm not talking about like huge things, life will life. And sometimes there are really big things that happen. But I just want to encourage you that sometimes those things that seem like they are just, blocking you from where you need to go are really just detours. They're really just detours, and you just need to navigate through them to get to the other side. So the other side is there. We're getting there. Today I had a site visit um, for this upcoming project that I'm really excited about. My car was acting up. It's been giving me trouble all week. The people said, "Oh, it's working." But then they still were running tests this morning, which made me have to be late. But I just called and said, "Hey, I'm sorry this happened. Can we still keep the appointment? I'm going to be about 30 minutes late." Was able to go there. The space is perfect. But there's a version of me that would have stopped, that would have said, "Oh, well, maybe it's not meant to be," or this is not working out. But I was determined. And so I pushed the envelope. I went to the mechanic before they, said it was ready, because they said they thought it was about to be ready, so that I can keep my timeline. So know that sometimes you're going to have to face a little adversity, and you might have to, come at it head on just to get through to where you're trying to go, but you're going to get there. All right, that's what I got for y'all guys this week. It's been a longish day, so I'm going to, wrap up. We do have the Get It Done incubator for those of you that need support on staying on track for those things that you need to be working on, but you also need that support and guidance through the process. That's starting September 1st. The next round of the Capable Confident Challenge is starting September 1st. So if you are in a space where you need to work on you and work on stepping into the space with confidence, work on stepping into the space with the confidence to show up as your full self, the confidence to, know your worth and be clear with others what your worth is. And that can come into play into pricing, or how we talk to ourselves, or how we downplay ourselves when we're actually like a really big deal. If that's the space that you're in and you're looking for a shift in that regard, then the Capable Confident Challenge is definitely where you need to be. I have a couple of other projects that I will be announcing in September, so stay tuned for that. Just finalizing some of those things. Also, if you're a part of my balloon or events world, um, there's still time to get your ticket for the Inflate Your Income, the Business Behind Balloons conference. I'm so excited. Like, we're putting all of the like presentations and everything together, and just seeing everything that is going to be laid out from each of the instructors is amazing. I cannot wait. Um, I'm excited for what I'm teaching, but I'm also excited to experience what the other ladies are teaching as well. So I'll have all of that in the show notes. Oh, since the last time I spoke to you guys, I um, have been a participant or a contributor to an anthology. Um, so that has come out. Well, the pre-orders have come out on Amazon. So I will be, I'll share that link in the show notes so you can go get you a copy. It's centered around healing. There are some powerful stories in there that you definitely, would want to consume and see the journey that each of these ladies have been on. So I'm excited about that as well. And I have a couple of my own books that are coming out soon. So that'll be a part of those announcements in September. But yeah, have a great, great week. And again, if you are going through a little bit of turmoil, it's not going to last always. And also try to look for the bright spots in your day outside of the turmoil. All right, guys, I will see you next week. I have an amazing guest episode that's coming out next week, so I can't wait for y'all to get to listen to that. Thanks for listening to the Prophets in Pajamas podcast. I hope you got some great tips to start working with these. Want to stay connected? Follow me at Your Workflow on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. For more information about creating balance in your life, register for my upcoming calendar detox challenge at CoachDanniD.com. Don't forget to subscribe, join the community, and book a call to find the workflow program that best fits your needs.